welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and I hope you're all having a fantastic Thursday. We are, of course, coming to you live here from the Illinois Media School here in Lombard, Illinois. Again, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen, day or night, I hope it is just right. Yeah, straight out of Lombard, absolutely. Yeah. We've been, yeah, exactly.
We've been here for years.
Yeah, we've been here for years, of course. As you can tell, I'm decked out in my pockets. Sure. With me, ladies and gentlemen, as always, the amazing and brilliant man himself, Mr. Drew Gwillem. Drew, how you doing today, man?
Ready to talk some football.
Are you? Because
Yeah.
we've got quite a bit we've got to get through here, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well then, my friend, let's do this, shall we?
We shall.
Then let's go, ladies and gentlemen. The first half we're kicking this off with, as you know, the NFL draft. We did picks 1 through 19 yesterday, so I thought, why not do it again? Let's keep going. 20 through 32, that's right. We're going to give you all the picks once again. Again, it's the home run hitters. It is the ones that swing and make a mess, and of course, it's going to be the steals for the draft. So let's kick it off first with the home run hitters for the NFL draft. So, Drew, I mean, right off the bat, is there anybody through the picks? By the way, I guess I should list out the picks, too, for those who don't know. Can we get the graphic up there real quick there, TJ, so we can list off these picks for everybody? 20 through 32, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we have the New England Patriots, the Green Bay Packers in their first pick. They have the Arizona Cardinals with the 23rd pick. Then it is the Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans. Then it is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Green Bay Packers, Kansas City Chiefs pick again twice, by the way, 29 and then 30. And then it is the Cincinnati Bengals. And last but not least, it is the Detroit Lions at 32. So that is the entirety of the back half of the draft that we are talking about. So, Drew, home run hitters out of all of these teams. Obviously, I know the Lions have the number 2 pick. Include them in there as well as you want with that number 2 overall pick. But what do you think? Who are the home run hitters that you're seeing for this back half of the draft right now?
Unfortunately,
Okay.
Green Bay.
Oh, no. I knew you were going to say
I think they're
it.
going to hit on a big-time wide receiver.
Okay.
And I think they're going to end up with maybe Treylon Burks or Christian Watson. And both happen to look pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's going to suck because I think both those guys have the potential to end up being, again, like a Devontae Adams type player, big and strong and fast. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately for one of them, I think that's where one of those guys are gonna end up there, and Rodgers is gonna get a weapon.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I feel like Treylon Burks probably going to be one of their top picks. I've heard a lot that they may still go for defense. Obviously, Zadarius Smith is gone. They still need help at their safety spot as well.
I get it, but
yeah, but you got to overload that receiver spot more than anything.
Okay, you don't pay Aaron Rodgers $1 billion if
right.
You're gonna get rid of Devontae Adams and leave him with Sammy Watkins and Allen Lazard.
Don't forget about Robert Tonyan. How could we forget about Robert Tonyan and Aaron Jones?
He's coming off an injury.
Right.
I like the run game there. It's fine. The offensive line is good.
I know.
Even
for what
with
it is.
Devontae Adams, we see what happens with this team.
Yeah.
So he needs weapons. He needs more.
Absolutely, yeah. For me, I feel like Buffalo's going to hit again on this one. If they don't trade the pick, by the way, too. There's a possibility, I know, that they could trade the pick for somebody that they maybe need more so than anything. But
I saw a mock draft where Buffalo ended up with Dotson.
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
Yeah, loading another wide receiver on an already
Really?
pretty heavy team.
Okay.
As
I mean,
it
I
is.
guess
Well,
another weapon.
I mean, if you think about it, though, they actually do need a number 2 to Diggs to take some of the pressure off of Diggs.
I don't know. Gabriel's pretty good as a wide receiver. He's done
Let's
the job
see-
pretty well.
Let's see if he can catapult his performance from that AFC game
Right.
into something this year.
Yeah.
But
It
still,
doesn't hurt.
no. But I was gonna say if they do trade out of that spot, it's gonna be with the Giants because they're gonna trade for Saquon.
For Kadarius Toney.
No, they're gonna trade for Saquon.
Oh,
Jeez.
I mean, there's a lot of
Wow.
there's a lot of mock drafts right now that are saying that since the Bills are pretty much loaded everywhere at this
Right.
point, they may reach for a running back. I would still say probably not their best bet. Brees Hall obviously is kind of considered like a consensus
I
top
saw
running
that
back. Yeah,
as well.
it's not a bad pick. It's just I don't think that would be if they do that pick, I would probably put them in the swing and a mess category at that point. I feel like though they will go get like another another solid offensive lineman. I think we were saying like Zion Johnson might be a guy on blow the whistle they may go and get just to solidify more of that offensive line. There's the wide receiver is always a possibility.
Never a bad move when you have a stud franchise quarterback to just make sure that line's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, I mean, God forbid if a corner, we've been hearing Stingley could go anywhere from top 5, top 3 to possibly falling to that 20 to 25 spot. And if he does, like they need another corner with Tre'Davious White, another very talented, handsome LSU corner, as they always are, to come into the draft. I'm being biased, obviously, of course, but they need another shutdown guy with Tre'Davious White. Then at that point, I feel like they've got no choice but to be like AFC Super Bowl favorites, if that's the case, because that's two sides of the field completely shut off at that point with Micah Hyde. It'd be insane. But Drew, anybody else, any other teams that stand out for you in this bottom?
Let's see. I mean, somehow, some way, Tampa's gonna get a guy, get somebody that's. I mean, who knows what they may try and get another weapon.
Yeah,
they could end up with. They're pretty solid all the way around too.
True.
So,
yeah.
I know they have Leonard Fournette, but maybe that could be I haven't seen anything, but that could be a potential reach for a running back if they really, really think that that's a position they might need. Maybe it's a wide receiver while Godwin might miss some time coming back from that injury. But ever since Tom Brady, they've drafted well. They've had some good players, but now that Tom Brady's there, I think
the energy's back in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, and they are going to do what they can to make sure Brady's happy with weapons.
Yeah, no, yeah. I had them taking Zion Johnson, the Boston College kid, because it just makes sense. They need a guard since they lost Kappa. He'd be perfect for them. He's a solid pick. I will say I don't have the Bucks. I think they're going to do fine, but I don't think they're going to be like a home run hitter. You color me bias on it. I'm going with the Bengals. I don't think that you can listen. I don't think you can screw this up. They've had a pretty solid offseason. The only things that they're really kind of looking at this point would probably be like cornerback and maybe an edge rusher potentially. They might want to fill in at linebacker possibly too, like at the inside linebacker spot. But they're pretty solid across the board. I mean, so I feel like I said this yesterday. I will say this again. I would love if they just traded the 31st pick and everything away to just go get Ahmad Gardner. Just get the shutdown corner for God's sakes. But if that's not the case, I mean, this is a corner-heavy draft. If you get a guy like a Kyler Gordon or Trent McDuffie or even an Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson, one of those corners that are out there that'll probably fall in this draft, I think you're going to be in a pretty solid spot considering that. What's his name? Hinton looked pretty good. I'm going to butcher his name. Awuzie, I think is how you say his name. Yeah, Chidobe Awuzie. He looked pretty fantastic out there as one of the top corners for them. I know they're kind of a build by broken bricks, if you will. A lot of throwaway guys, but I feel like they can do a really good job at the draft. They've done solid so far, so I don't think they can mess it up any further. Other than taking another quarterback, they don't need. What do you got to say?
You don't want Eli Apple?
No, I don't want Eli. If I want toast, I'll make it in the morning. I don't need it on the field, all right?
Drew, I love how he starts it off as, I'm not going to be, you might call this bias, but I'm not going to homer all over this. But I'm going to homer all over this and talk about my team.
I mean, is it technically homering because I don't live there? So
you are a homer.
I do support the team in that sense.
Because it's your LSU boys.
Yeah,
it's your LSU boys. So you are homering.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be in on the thing.
No.
I'll give you mine real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Kansas City.
That's where I was going next.
Yes.
When he was going to say, "Do you have any more?" That's where I was going to go next.
Yeah, Kansas City's might go wide receiver. I'm not even joking.
It's possible.
Very possible. And the other thing I think about Kansas City too is don't count them out on trading one of those picks and moving up too.
Yeah.
Getting an even better wide receiver.
Absolutely.
So with the way they do things the right way. Obviously, with the team they've put together.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not count that out at all.
No, absolutely. Kansas City is one of my other teams. I think they're gonna right now. ESPN Plus has them taking who I think is actually going to be the solid picks for them. They've got Daxton Hill from Michigan, the safety, gives them that replacement safety for Tyrann Matthew since they're not going to pay him. Solid. I mean, he's like a hybrid corner safety I've seen. He can like do a little bit of everything.
I think he's played some all over the place.
Yeah, which is perfect because they need a corner and they need safety help. So whichever one they can figure out for him, I think is going to be solid. And then they've got George Pickens going to them, which I think is another great pick because he's a solid wide receiver.
I saw that too. I was like,
yeah,
man,
I know.
That was a guy that the Bears were looking at.
And obviously with receiver, they've got a lot of guys. Obviously, Jahan Dotson's another one. If they get him, that's going to be big for them.
Yes, please.
There's also the possibility that I've seen too, if all the receivers are kind of locked in, or if they really feel good about this kid, Christian Watson from North Dakota State.
Yep.
Big, strong, fast kid. Easily going to be the favorite target for a guy like Patrick Mahomes all of a sudden to go out wide. I mean, and that team just all of a sudden, I think, kind of reloaded that squad again. You can't screw. I don't think they can screw up the draft really on this one. To be quite honest, it would be very hard for Kansas City. I don't know what they would possibly mess up on. Maybe an offensive lineman, but even then, I don't even know if I could fault them on it if they think it's good enough.
Right, you protect your $2 billion quarterback.
Yes,
no,
exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not.
Andrew,
Yeah.
I will say this. I have heard a little bit of chatter that they've kind of fallen in love with Jaquan Brisker from Penn State and might want to take him in the second round.
Yeah.
And that's why I said they might go running back or wide receiver in the first.
No, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it all depends on what they feel that necessity is, right? Obviously, I think they're going to take a wide receiver. There'll be somebody at that position. Or do they feel like they can, if they did trade up both those picks to go to like 5 to get Garrett Wilson or something, because they felt like, oh, well, we can't miss on a possibly top wide receiver in the draft. That'd blow everybody's mind, of course. And, of course, it would just make them that much better.
That would be that Atlanta Falcons move to get Julio Jones kind of move for Kansas City where everybody's going, really? You really needed to do that?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
You have Matt Ryan, you've got Roddy White, and you signed Tony Gonzalez. What else do you need? Hey, Julio Jones, we'll take him too.
Yes, please.
So unfair. So tragic that it didn't work out the way it should have.
Shut your damn mouth.
It's crazy what happens when an organization does things the right way and they find players that are good.
Absolutely.
And then they add, and they have 2 first-round picks with the team they have.
Now, wait a minute. That being said, though, Drew, does that give you hope that coming from that organization, your new GM
we'll see
is going to do things right?
Prove it to me.
In Chicago.
Prove it to me.
But he's been a part of that building process.
I like the fact that he was a part of what they built there.
He's the guy that Gaga and Goo-Goo'd all over Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. So
yeah, and that's excellent. Go find me a Tyreek Hill in the second round. Because you know what? Look at some of the top wide receivers in the league right now. Yeah. Guess where they came from? Second round and later.
Yeah.
Do you want
Cup?
You want your Tyreek Hill of this draft? He's going to go in probably the third round, and I bet you Andrew knows who I'm talking about.
I mean, listen, I think there's actually a couple of guys that could actually match up with him.
It's Waddell. It's Waddell. Come on. It's Waddell.
Maybe. It's all possible with him. We'll see what he can do. I like his. Listen, I love his stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love his stuff. He was a very, very talented receiver in college. I just don't know if he's going to be that.
And when I say go find our Tyreek Hill, I don't necessarily mean same style, same type of player. Go give me that number one guy who's going to make people have to game plan for.
Yeah.
Every week after week.
Absolutely.
That's what I mean, and that's what we need, and that's what we want.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, Kansas City, I give them the win. I mean, is there anybody else, though, for you, Drew, I mean, that you think is going to be able to come into this as victors?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
All right, that's fine. All right, well, then.
I've got one more for you. Just diamond in the rough, and it is a little bit of a homer. Pittsburgh. If Malik falls to Pittsburgh, that could be a game changer for Pittsburgh.
I think he's going to be a good player.
Yeah.
But there's too much uncertainty with him to take that early, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's still really
I think if
early.
he was in the top 15, if Pittsburgh was in the top 15, I'd say it was too early.
Yeah.
At 20, it's kind of the right spot for a quarterback like that.
Well, I mean, these quarterbacks shouldn't be going anywhere higher than I would say like 14, 15 in this draft. They're just not. I mean, it's like the 2017 draft where there's a
Always
lot of
happens.
uncertainty on it. Obviously, Mahomes, Watson, we've seen what they became. But at that point, when they came out of the draft, they're like, yeah, the highest guy was Trubisky, and they were putting him at 12 on the mock draft. So,
Yeah, Trubisky does look like he's high when he plays.
yes,
Yeah,
he does.
Very high.
Yes, he does.
You are correct, sir.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, well, let's get to the swing and a mess on this one, shall we, Drew? So, obviously, out of these last few teams, I mean, which ones do you feel like are going to be swinging and missing on these ones and creating just an absolute mess of a nightmare for themselves on draft day?
I mean, I want to say the Cowboys because you never know what the hell crazy Jerry's going to do. Crazy Uncle Jerry.
Yeah.
Well, now he's like Grandpa Jerry. But
Right.
What did he go like wide receiver first round like every year? They trade up every
Oh,
other
yeah.
year for something crazy.
Right.
I don't know. I just you never know what Jerry's gonna do.
I mean, he hit on his pick last year. It
Yes.
certainly helped a lot.
I just think that Jerry makes moves sometimes,
Mhm.
and you're just like, but why?
Right.
But why?
I'm in the same boat as you. I feel like the Cowboys. Here's the thing. I've been hearing a lot that the Cowboys, if they can't get their man, which they're kind of aiming at Linderbaum right now, which that would be a great pick for them. If they can't get him, they want to trade out. If he trades out of that pick, if Jerry really does trade out of that pick, I think that's the dumbest thing he could do. And I think he's going to do it. And I think he's going to trade with? I think he's going to trade with Houston. Because there's going to be something, because I guarantee you right now what he wants more than anything is to get another tackle in there with Tyron Smith. And he's going to try to look at like Laramie Tunsil. And he's going to be like, yeah, we'll take on like like $40 million he's got owed coming to him. We'll take it on. Screw it. Let's take on all the money. Because Jerry Jones is just that kind of guy. He's willing to risk that first-round pick, which, by the way, at this point, Tunsil, I don't think is worth the first-round pick. But it'll be Jerry reaching again for another guy that he thinks is going to put that team in the playoffs, which it's not going to be hard in that division anyway. So I agree. I think it's the Cowboys. For me, God, I really think the Titans are going to blow this one. I really think the Titans are going to blow this one. That team's good. It's just I feel like they're going to screw it up every time. What did we say, David? I think we said they're taking the dude from Central Michigan, which is like the guy that they should be taking anyways.
Oh, here's the latest.
Sky Moore.
Yeah.
The latest is that it's Ritter from Cincinnati.
Oh wow.
God.
I did hear that for Tennessee.
Yeah.
Going after a quarterback.
That's the thing is that they listen, Pickett, even Ritter to some degree I understand, but not in the first round. I'm sorry. It's just I do think Ryan Tannehill is Garbaggio for what he is as a starting quarterback. You definitely need to get the future in there at some point. You don't need to go so high on a quarterback at this point. You want to get Desmond Ritter, get him in the second round. Fine. He'll probably be there if that's the case. Don't go reaching on a quarterback in the first, though.
They're worried that Detroit's going to take him at 32.
Then let Detroit do that if that's what they're going to do. Don't take a quarterback when you need to. All right? I mean, seriously, you need a wide receiver. That's what they need. They need a wide receiver. They need an offensive lineman to protect their quarterback and their star running back because, after all, last year what happened? He got hurt. You got to protect those two guys. Otherwise, you're not going to make the playoffs. Because guess what? The Colts just got better. Jacksonville is kind of like a maybe. And if Houston hits on all these picks they have, they could be right there too. Who knows? You're not too far off from being at the top of the division, and you're not too far off from being last in the division. That's
Right.
the problem with the AFC South right now. Seriously, I think they're going to botch it. I really do. So.
Completely agree. Because I honestly think they're going to be that team that reaches for that quarterback, gets scared, and goes, oh, my God, we need a quarterback, and goes and gets Desmond Ritter.
Probably. Drew, for you, anybody else that stands out?
It's really going to be anybody who goes after one of these quarterbacks
Yeah.
in the first round.
Yeah.
I think there's so much talent in other spots
Mhm.
that, again, everyone says it's kind of a blah draft, and it's not as exciting and sexy as everybody wants it to be. But I still think there's a lot of great players, a lot of great wide receivers, and a lot of offensive linemen that, again, not sexy, but can make a difference on teams. And I think any team that takes a quarterback in the first round is going to either regret it or it's going to take longer for them to develop and get in that position than what they want.
Yeah, that's a very interesting take.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like it. I don't necessarily agree with it because I think there are at least 2 quarterbacks that are late first round talents.
Right.
But I can understand your take on it. That's a very interesting take.
Yes, with every player, there's a lot of unknowns, but I think especially with this class not being like I saw somewhere that what was it, an NFL coach or something said, none of these quarterbacks in this class are worth anything more than a third-round pick.
That's fair. I would say so.
So yes, you draft on talent and you want a guy, but when you're taking guys in the first round, you want them to start now.
Right.
You want them to have that talent level and be ready to play and make an impact on your team. That's why they're first-round picks.
Yeah, or at least you want them kind of like what they're doing with Trey Lance. Sit a year, learn, and then by the time it's year 2, let's go. You got to get in the system.
And even Trey Lance, I thought, was too high for him to go because there's so much uncertainty.
Right.
And when you're trying to find the position that matters most on all 32 NFL football teams.
Yeah.
You want a clear picture on what you're getting and everybody needs work. Nobody comes in just perfect.
Right.
There's not everybody is just ready to go right away.
Yeah.
It's growing pains.
Absolutely.
Right? So
not everybody's Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Well, and even Joe Burrow went through growing pains.
Listen, it was not. I never even said he would. Look, yes, I go goo goo gaga over the guy. Okay, I love him to death. I think he's a great quarterback. I am biased because he's from LSU. But let's be honest. When he got hurt with his knee, I was freaked out. I did not think he was going to come back this way. I never would have dreamed they go 10-7. He throws for 34 touchdowns, and they go to the Super Bowl. That's a pipe dream. After a knee injury like that, that's a pipe dream.
I'll be real with you right now, Drew. Last year, when I rated out the quarterbacks of that class, I had Lance 1 and Fields 1B.
And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, because unfortunately, after Trevor Lawrence, there's a lot of, even with Fields, I still feel like is maybe right there, possibly with Lawrence. But you can make an argument, I think, that there's still a lot of uncertainty because Ohio State quarterbacks, it's still not proven. It's still a lot of, I mean.
Yeah, at the same time, every person is different. Every player is different. I don't buy into
system
the
means
whole,
a lot.
I don't. You came from Ohio State. You can't be a good quarterback.
Right.
I don't go for that kind of narrative on things, but because everybody pushes themselves to different levels. Okay?
Absolutely.
You have a guy like Patrick Mahomes who had all the talent, did some good things in college, played really well, but there was still a little uncertainty. But
right. Well, he went to Texas Tech. No quarterback from Texas Tech has ever, and it's
same thing. Again, I think there was less uncertainty with those guys like him, Watson, than there is with this class.
No, I mean absolutely. Quarterback is always going to be a question because you want to make sure it's a hit no matter what.
Yeah.
Real quick too for the swing and the mess, I'll say it. Even though they don't have a draft pick, Miami, I think they've made a terrible mistake because they botched. Okay. They botched the story on the Tom Brady thing because Tom Brady retired and Sean Payton retired, so they're like, oh, well, we got to make it look like we're doing something. Yeah, we were going to go for Brady and Peyton before they retired. And then Tom Brady unretires, and they go, oh, no, we got to make a move. Otherwise, we look bad. We have to look like we're trying. Give all the draft picks to Kansas City, and let's get Tyreek Hill. This isn't going to work for them. I'm sorry. I don't believe that they have the QB to make it happen. I think he's got talent, but I think he's got a low ceiling. I don't think.
Why do you hate Tua so much?
It's not because he's from Bama.
Why do you
It's not because he's from Bama.
All right.
You know what they're gonna do? You know what they're gonna do?
They're gonna put him at running back.
No, they're gonna work with Tua this year, and then they're gonna draft baby Tua next year.
They're gonna get Talia. Yeah. Well, you
throws a better deep ball.
Yeah, he does. He actually does. Believe it or not. Again, I'm not trying to throw any shade onto it. Look, I think he's a fine player for what he is. It's just his ability to be that star quarterback, I think, really kind of registers on the low end compared to the guys that have been drafted in that draft outside of course, Jordan Love, because let's be honest, that was a complete swing and a miss by the Packers. By the way, Packers, I hope you draft another quarterback, please, just to show up Aaron Rodgers. That would be great. If you do it, again, you lead the headlines for our show for next week.
You know who they should draft? Billy Zappe.
The good old kid from Western Kentucky, yeah.
I love him.
I know you do. I know. Drew, anybody else you got feeling you're going to be a swing and a mess on this one?
No.
No?
No, I think
all right.
There you go, Drew. You want a quarterback late in the draft for the Bears that could turn into something very, very good as a backup? Billy Zappe from Western Kentucky in the 5th or 6th round for the Bears.
Sure.
You need
let me just
you have to have somebody to supplement Foles because Foles is gone next year.
I know.
So I'm telling you, take a flyer on Zappe.
If they trade back in this draft and add more picks, okay. But as they stand with their 6,
yeah,
I don't like when they have so many needs on this team. Backup quarterback isn't one of them right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I want talent somewhere else in a position that they really need a player because they don't have a lot of guys even on their roster.
Right.
So they need to fill out this roster with guys that they can put in a position and hopefully make this team instead of potentially a practice squad guy right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because he's not going anywhere with Trevor Siemian and Nick Foles already backing up fields.
Oh, I forgot they got Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about Trevor Siemian.
I know, he's the forgotten name.
He's coming home.
Unfortunately, I haven't forgotten about him.
No, I mean it's a good point. I mean, listen, for Zappy, for those who don't know, Western Kentucky broke the passing yards record, right?
Yeah, he broke all of Joe Burrow's records last year.
He did. I mean, he threw for a lot of yards, and he's a really decent passer. Just
throws an amazing deep ball.
I think I'm more suited to see him play in the XFL or the USFL at this point than probably the NFL. Be the king of a new kingdom. Don't just be a soldier in the
blasphemy.
Blasphemy. Hey, you never know, right? Some guys come out of Michigan as a 6th-round draft pick and end up winning 7 Super Bowls. It's unbelievable.
And it's the only quarterback Michigan's had do anything in the NFL.
Yeah. All right, well, some surprisers, some Steelers. Who's going for the steal? Real quick to kind of go with the steal, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get a steal because I think it's going to be Linderbaum. I think it's going to be the kid from Iowa. I know they need a quarterback. I know Tomlin loves Malik Willis, but I think Linderbaum would be the essential piece that they would need to build that team going forward. Because what do you need more than anything? A quarterback, cornerbacks, edge rushers, and an offensive line. And what's the best position to start your offensive line with to be the anchor? It's usually the center. If you get the center thing right, you can usually get the rest of the line right. Because that's usually the guy that's commanding, that's quarterback in that O-line. So, and I think, and Linderbaum, listen, 4.0 GPA, the guy did like advanced physics and things. Like, he did crazy courses. He's probably got like 4, what do you call it, BAs or whatever it is, bachelors and stuff, and probably got like 2 masters.
3 bachelors, 2 masters, and he's working on his doctorate.
Exactly. And then he's going to get like a second doctorate, and then he's going to go fly to space and fix the moon or whatever it is, because the guy's he's insanely smart. So
you just like this pick because the colors are the same.
That too. You're not swapping the colors too much. You're going from Iowa to Pittsburgh, which, fun fact, if you don't know, Iowa did steal Pittsburgh Steelers colors. That's why they look that way. So. But, Drew, is there anybody that you think is going to be a steal in these later rounds? For the first round? Players or anything?
My homer. It's more like, it's more players. So, again, bringing up the same name as yesterday, David Ojabo. If he's gonna fall,
Yeah,
somebody gets him at the end of the first round. That's still a steal to me.
absolutely.
For a guy, yeah, I might have to sit out a year, but he's a supreme talent.
Yeah.
And even your Cincinnati Bengals could end up with him at the very end, at 31, if they could end up getting him. Because I saw mock drafts where they were taking some defensive ends or some pass rushers. It's a need.
Absolutely.
So that could be a guy that would be a real nice piece for them.
Yeah. I will say this much: anywhere he goes, he's going to be a steal. Because once he's got that Achilles rehabbed, he's going to be a difference maker.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Cardinals are going to have a steal on this one. I had them taking Jamison Williams in our mock draft for blow the whistle. I don't know if he's going to fall that far, unfortunately, anymore. It seems like a lot of teams are really. I mean, all the wide receivers are getting a lot of hype. Let's just be honest. They're all catching a lot of hype. So who knows where they're going to go at this point. I think the Cardinals, though, I think Ojabo's still on there. They need to find a replacement for Chandler Jones, right? Ojabo's perfect. I think he's that next guy. Again, I say this because I had him going to the Chiefs, really, but George Karlaftis, I don't think that guy gets enough love. I do not think he gets enough love. And if he doesn't go to the Chiefs, by the way, it's because the Patriots probably drafted him.
Is it the Purdue curse that we were talking about the other day and why I was saying, why isn't David Bell getting any?
Yeah, David Bell doesn't get enough love. He should be going in the second round. Now that people have him going in the third or fourth, which I'm all for. If that's the case, then the Bears can maybe land somebody in the third or somebody gets a nice wide receiver then later in the draft. But I don't know. Purdue doesn't get enough love because the Big Ten is crowded with all these other big programs, obviously. Purdue's kind of like the lost man in the middle, unfortunately, in East Lafayette. Point to that on a calendar if you can, folks. Or calendar. What am I talking about? Map. Jesus Christ. My brain just went other places. Sorry. But I feel like he's going to be a guy that they can get as a steal in the draft. The Cardinals will have a guy. They'll find somebody. And I think they'll find a pass rusher. If it's Ojabo or Karlaftis, it'll be perfect for them.
See, I don't necessarily think that Ojabo works. I mean, yes, he works for anybody.
Yes.
But with all everything going on with Kyler and them, and how are they going to give him a contract? Are they going to make him play on 1 year? They want to win now.
Right.
They got to win now for this dude to be happy. And
that doesn't really fit with their system.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't more like a timeline thing.
Right.
They want guys that can come in and play for them now so they can win, and that makes this whole situation kind of work itself out by winning.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I thought that the other one I've got here, too, is also the Patriots. Because, of course, the Patriots will. Because ever since Bill Belichick has been like, yeah, I'll be hands off on the draft, they've been like, cool, we'll take control of it. And it worked out. Obviously, they had a really good draft last year, probably their best draft in like 10 years. And I feel like they're either going to take Devin Lloyd from Utah. That's a steal for whoever's going to need a middle linebacker. Or they're going to take Karlaftis. That's another steal. Or in their case, too, they could even take Ojabo as well because they can kind of risk taking a guy that's injured at this point, and they can just kind of let rest. So, and it's the Patriots. I mean,
they like their Michigan linebackers.
They do Uche and Winovich and all those guys. They certainly like to take from that school. So, I mean, and they produce some good pass rushers. Can't deny that. So,
I will say this much, Andrew. The only way that Linderbaum thing happens at 20 with Pittsburgh is if Malik's off the table.
Probably.
Which I'm scared for because
it's Carolina, man.
No. I've heard Atlanta.
Oh, it could be Atlanta too.
Atlanta, all of a sudden the GM came out late last night and goes, "Oh, we're getting a quarterback in this draft." And I went,
so the Ryan Pace effect is working. So you sign a quarterback and then you draft a quarterback.
Shut your cake hole.
Is that not the Ryan Pace?
Shut your dirty whore mouth.
Ryan Pace move.
Do you hear me?
Sign a quarterback and then draft a quarterback. That is the Ryan Pace move.
No, the Ryan Pace move is to crap down your leg every draft.
See, but you know what? We'll get great late round draft picks finally.
Man, you'll hit on one or two.
Right, yeah.
But our first rounders will be every 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're probably they're like, Ryan, you're not touching the first 4 rounds. Don't even think about it.
He's done good in the first. Anything after the second round, he's done pretty decent.
Yeah, absolutely. I will also say this. I think the Lions, with the 32nd pick, first off, I don't think they can screw up the second overall pick. I think Hutchinson, Walker, whatever it is that they're going to go for, they're going to take a defensive player. I think it's going to be Hutchinson.
It's looking like it.
They land him, awesome, cool.
Yeah.
Snag him up, bring in that money, bring in a talented leader. I think at the 32nd pick, they're probably looking at another wide receiver possibly to pair up with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And who knows, if a lot of receivers are gone, this could be maybe where Bell goes potentially if they like what they see.
I've seen quarterback. Every mock draft I've seen has been quarterback at 32.
It seems like it's too early. Let this contract play out for Jared Goff.
We're all, I don't know about Drew because I've never really asked Drew about Jared Goff, but you and I know are on the same page.
Right.
We like Jared Goff. We do not think he's as bad as everybody seems to think he is.
Right.
I think like Jared Goff is a strong word. It's a little too strong for me.
Content?
Okay. I don't. Yes.
You appreciate?
I'm content.
Okay.
If I'm the Lions, I'm content with Jared Goff for the next season.
Yeah.
And then you're going for C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And hoping to be that bad and try to get one of those guys next year.
Right.
So
the quarterback class next year is as deep as the wide receiver class is this
Yeah,
year.
there's
So
a lot of guys
there's
you
a
can go
lot
for.
of
So
talent
even
next
if
year.
you don't land on one of those two, you get somebody else who could be your franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Because it's not Jared Goff.
No.
But yes, content with what he brings to the table for you next season.
Absolutely.
You honestly, you know what I think Jared Goff needed? He needed a head coach that was rah-rah for him. And I think Mr. I'm going to bite your knees off is rah-rah for Jared Goff, and that's what he needed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And for the Lions or even maybe Kansas City, if one of those two teams, if they go for wide receiver, getting a George Pickens at the end of that would be, I think, would be a nice steal because before his injury, he was supposed to be a top of the first round type of one of those top.
They were saying like a top 10, top 15 pick at one point.
So I think him going that late to one of these wide receiver needy teams would be a big steal for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna do a Drew and a you, and I'm gonna homer all over this.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Anyone who gets Jahan Dotson in those late picks is a winner. He is, to me, he is carbon copy what Godwin is down in Tampa Bay. And
I thought you were gonna say he's carbon copy of God himself.
No.
Okay.
No, he's a carbon copy of what God. It might take him a year, just like it took Godwin a year to kind of acclimate to the NFL.
Right.
But once he gets it, he's going to be as good, if not better, because he can high point better than pretty much anybody in this draft. Except for maybe what we say, Drake London, and that's only because Drake London's
6'5", and he's giant. So no, I think for Jahan Dotson's a great player no matter what. It's just going to depend on what quarterback he hooks up with, I think. And if he gets with the right quarterback, if Arizona does take him at 23 because they want a wide receiver, or it is Kansas City, which obviously that'd be amazing if they could. I mean, even throwing him into Detroit, I think with Jared Goff for the year to say you become the number one and Amon-Ra St. Brown becomes the number two, or vice versa, however you want to play it. You pair that up with Jared Goff, get your quarterback next year. That Lions team, unfortunately, gets a little bit better.
It could be Detroit. It could be Kansas City. It could be Green Bay. It could be Tennessee. It could be Buffalo. It could be Arizona.
Yeah.
Hell, it could be the Patriots.
Hey,
yes.
How about this?
It could be the Patriots,
How about this? All these teams are stupid enough to let him drop into that second round, and he goes to Chicago.
I'm okay with that.
There's your answer. There's your answer to Allen Robinson right there.
Yeah.
That would. I mean,
I still like Christian Watson, but that's just me. I like big guy.
I love Christian Watson too, and I was kind of shocked that you brought. I haven't seen any draft where he goes in the first round at all.
There's been a couple that have him going like to the Chiefs or like
Green Bay
or
really?
there's been one where he goes to Detroit. Yeah, it's all they're like some of the more newer drafts now because I think everyone's thinking they're gonna push for receivers early. So then everybody's going to
It's going to be that mad dash.
Exactly. That's why, like I said, like Sky Moore is going to be like, I had him going on the Chiefs for blow the whistle. Like, obviously, that's a bit of a reach. Yes, Sky Moore I don't think is really a first-round pick. But they'll make him a first-round pick because everybody will be gone at that point, and they'll have no choice.
This is the equivalent of a bridal dress sale.
Yes. Yes.
All these NFL teams are just rushing into the store right now going, what wide receiver can we get?
Does this make me look fat? Does this run a good route?
Yeah.
Does this have this good hands?
How's my veil?
Yeah. It doesn't work with that quarterback now. That can't work there. Damn. Now we should have done that. We should have made this a bridal moment for the wide receivers, apparently. Oh, missed opportunities there.
That's next year.
Next year. Yes, next year.
We'll do it with quarterbacks next year.
Yeah, we'll do
I was just
quarterbacks.
gonna say the
yes.
same thing.
Yeah.
I want to wear a CJ Stroud. I got to be honest. That looks really nice. So
The only reason I accept Justin Fields is because he's on the Bears. Okay, let's not get anything misconstrued. CJ Stroud, you can go suck it.
hey, I'm not
Go
wearing
blue.
I'm not wearing a
Agreed,
Bryce
but not
Young.
go blue.
Yeah. Well, you're blue.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
have your blue. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a Bryce Young.
We don't
okay?
like
You
the
think I'm gonna-
maze.
think
We
I'm
don't
gonna do
like
that?
maze.
Maze.
Maize, blue, the yellow and maize, folks. All right.
Blue and maize.
Blue and maize, excuse me. My brain's off. All right, let's move on from the draft here, folks. That's all we've got for the first round. The draft is starting here in about 25 minutes or so. So
Yeah, let's get going. Come on.
I know. So let's just get right to these questions, shall we?
Absolutely.
Let's do this. So we've got some fan questions. We're gonna spin right through these. Granted, listen, we kind of can put these all together very quickly. Not every answer probably gonna be there. If that's the case, we're just gonna move quickly through these. Drew, are you ready to hit this first one?
Taco or
Yeah.
sandwich?
Shut up. We're not going back to that. Never again. No. Oh my God, it's gonna start all over again. I know it.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do this. So, without further ado, folks, we introduce, as we all know, the NBA awards always happen. Well, I'm doing the NBA Trash Awards. That's right. The categories are trash coach, trash improved, trash defense, trash offense,
Trash improved?
rookie. Yes. Well, least improved, I guess you could say in that case. And then I've got the LVP for the least valuable player.
Andrew,
Yes.
don't blow blood vessel.
Why? What do you think I'm going to say?
Oh, I know exactly where you're going. Don't have an aneurysm.
All right. So would you like me to go first?
Sure.
All right. For the trash coach of the NBA this year, trash coach of the year, I'm going with Tom Thibodeau. I thought he did a terrible job with the Knicks. Obviously, you just made the playoffs last year. Great run for them, and they have just completely imploded on themselves this year. Tom Thibodeau, to me, you are the trash NBA coach of the year. So congratulations to you, sir. The Knicks are, as it already is on the sidewalks, garbage, complete and utter garbage. So, Drew, do you have yours by any chance? Or
I'm actually right there with you because
Okay.
I expect
pretty easy.
so much more out of Thibodeau.
Yeah.
What he's shown in the past, what he was able to do with the Knicks last year,
Mm-hmm.
with and with what he's able to do with point guards.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Kemba Walker, and you can do absolutely nothing with him.
That's right. They have Kemba Walker.
He was sitting.
I forgot
He was
about
sitting
that.
for Alec Burks
Oh my
through
God, that's right.
early on in the season because Kemba Walker wasn't doing the job. I
And-
know he's a little older. I know he's dropped off some, but
Right.
still, you expect a hell of a lot more from Kemba. You expect a lot more from a coach who's gotten the most out of his players, and he definitely
Wow.
did not do that.
I thank you for reminding. I can't believe I completely forgot it because he got benched. I completely
Yeah.
forgot he got benched. Yeah. Oh my
and there was a
God.
big deal about how
Oh my God.
he wasn't getting a lot. He was getting like 12 minutes a game, and
Yeah.
wasn't producing at all, and that's why his minutes dropped.
I completely
And
forgot.
then he sat.
Yeah, absolutely. David, you got yours?
My trash coach of the year is LeBron James.
You know what? Fair enough. Because after all, if you haven't seen,
Am
the
I
headline-
wrong?
Am
I wrong?
We could also go with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden too, because there's a trio of brains that didn't do a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah,
With that
that's
team.
true. I mean, listen, front office right now is blaming Clutch Sports, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis for the Russell Westbrook trade. Internally right now, although apparently it's gone pretty public at this point. So I think it's a fair call. I honestly do. You made the move. You said you wanted him.
You won the championship the year before. And now all of a sudden Frank Vogel doesn't know how to coach?
Yeah, right?
Please.
Doesn't make any sense, honestly.
LeBron James, you are the worst coach in the NBA.
All right, least improved player. Drew, I mean, do you have anybody?
Wait a minute. You have to preface this.
I have to preface this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they have to play during the year, Andrew?
Yes, for least improved player, you had to have played at least, I would say, like 20 minutes.
Okay.
At least 20 minutes.
All right. I just wanted some ground
I will
rules.
Hold my tongue for when the time
just go
is
ahead,
right.
Just say it.
No,
Just say
I'm holding my tongue for when the time is right.
I think I'm with you on that one.
Because I'm going to say, to me at least, the least improved player, I'm going to be completely honest because nobody thinks about him, D'Angelo Russell. I almost think he kind of regressed, actually. Because now granted, Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns kind of took over that team, but I feel like D'Angelo Russell, nothing happened. And it's a shame because the guy's getting paid a ton of money. And for what he did at Golden State, I just feel like at this point, he hasn't improved anything. What have you done? You've not gotten better. In fact, you almost got worse. So I would say D'Angelo Russell, for me, is going to be the least improved. What about you, Drew?
I'm going to go, while still a very, very good player, because of his contract.
Okay.
It's more of a contract thing.
Yeah.
All the money he's making, you expect superstar numbers, game in, game out from this guy. Yeah, everybody has their duds, but Rudy Gobert, okay?
That's
These
a good one.
playoffs here.
Yeah.
You don't see him taking a lot of shots.
No.
Yes, he does his business on defense and on the boards, but you see a guy that big and strong, you expect a lot more points out of this
Absolutely.
guy. And you haven't seen it. And for what he's making and the way his contract increases year after year, expect so much more out of him.
Yeah. That's a really good pick. I like that a lot. David, you've got your least improved.
I'm I don't know how either one of you did not say this name, Russell Westbrook.
Well, that's very good too.
I've never seen anybody go from being able to hit clutch shots to not even being able to hit a backboard.
That's very true. God, yeah.
That's very good.
He's got the Chuck Knobloch yips.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair,
he's
in one of my categories, just not that one per se.
Oh, okay.
But I totally agree with you. Least improved. Totally, completely depreciated. In fact, I think in value at this point. There's nothing there. All right, next. Trash defense, or for this point, the worst defensive player in the league. Can I go first, ladies and gentlemen, if that's all right?
Go ahead.
No, I don't even know.
I am giving the title to
I've got one.
Mr. Olay himself, Mr. James Harden, ladies and gentlemen. That's right.
Okay. That's not Mr. Olay in my book, but
yeah,
okay.
right. I know who you're going with, I think, but I'm taking James Harden, by far the worst defensive player. In fact, it's showing right now against the Toronto Raptors because you're letting a guy like OG Anunoby scoring 15 points against you. What the hell are you doing? All you got to do is stand in front of the guy, and you can't even do that right. So, Mr. James Harden, once again, I would say, because he's got to be like a multi-winner at this point for this award, you are the least defensive player of the year, my good friend. Drew, do you have yours?
Go ahead, David.
Go ahead, David. Do hit it.
I'm going hometown. It's Vooch.
Vooch. I was thinking
Olay. Olay.
Well said.
I just don't want to be that mean.
Oh, I'll be
Do
that
it.
mean.
Be mean, please.
Not to our guy.
No, we love the Bulls, but listen.
I love the Bulls.
Sometimes you got to be a little bit of a, dad's got to bring home the belt sometimes, right?
Yeah, you got to put baby in the corner every once in a while.
Yes. Vooch in the corner and shoot threes. If he's
Nobody
not gonna play
puts
defense.
baby in the
Vooch in the corner,
listen.
that's a problem.
Here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were just talking about Gobert. Would you trade Gobert for Vooch?
It's tough. If it was that straight up, probably. But it's going to be more than that.
It's got to be a lot more.
It's going to be a lot more than that. And for the contract that he has, I think his last year he's going to make $46 million.
Yeah.
Hamstrings your team.
Oh, absolutely. I completely.
So I
completely agree. But like for me, there was nothing more aggravating to me this year than to watch a unbelievably talented Bulls team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying Vooch isn't talented. He's a very talented
Offensive
power forward.
player.
Yes.
No, I don't even want to say offensive. Eastern European player.
Okay.
Because there's not an Eastern European player out there that plays defense. That's a big man. Think about it.
The Joker.
Joke doesn't play defense. Are you kidding me?
A little. More than Vooch.
Well, yeah. That's
Right.
not very difficult. But
No.
that being said, it was a waste because now every team knows that all they got to do is go down low.
Right. Yeah.
And you didn't have Patty Will for 3/4 of the season. So, yeah, Vooch is getting my vote.
I like the James Harden one with you for what he gets paid for the position he plays on. He's supposed to play on his team.
Mhm.
You think, okay, well, he doesn't play defense because he's spending all of his energy on offense, scoring all these threes and
Yeah.
running around a lot. But yeah, guess what? You're not doing that either.
Right.
So what do? You're just out of shape and on the court, not doing much.
Yeah.
Okay, congratulations, you can get some assists, but your defense sucks.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrible. All right, let's get to the least offensive player of the year. I know this is not per se an award. It usually is like a scoring title thing or something like that. But obviously this goes to the guy that has been the least effective player on offense as it is the least effective player on defense. And this is where I go with Mr. Russell Westbrook for being the absolute garbage man he has been with that Lakers team. I don't know why they couldn't figure out how to use him, and then all of a sudden he's going to blame his coach for not using him. Dude, you didn't know how to use you. I mean, I can't even fathom how hard this really was. Just drive the ball to the basket and make a pass. How hard is that? But he wants to shoot threes, or somebody was telling him to shoot threes. I don't know whose job it was, but Russell Westbrook, you are, in my book, the least offensive player of the year. Congratulations to you, sir. Drew, do you have yours?
I'm going to two-player combo it with the
Go
guy
for
I
it.
already talked about
Yeah.
and the guy you just brought, Kemba Walker and Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Both point guards, both players that you expect to be very good players in this, like Russell Westbrook getting triple-doubles left and right. Kemba Walker should be able to score at will.
Yeah. Should be.
Should be. And neither one of them could do it. Not even with, again, we talked about Thibodeau not getting the most out of him. But it falls on his shoulders as well. He's the one that's going out and playing.
Yes.
So expect a lot more out of them, and their offense was total garbage all season long.
Yeah, absolutely. David, do you have yours?
James Harden.
James, that's fine. You know what? It's a good pick. Like that.
If it was just playoff based, I'd go ice tray, but it's not.
Hey, that's fine. All right, and we come down to it, folks. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, excuse me. There's one more. Sorry, I skipped a category because I was so excited to get to that last one. It is least. It is trash rookie of the year. Now I know this is being a little harsh because there is rookie of the year, but I'm gonna be honest. There were some rookies out there that I thought were pretty bad, considering that they got drafted pretty high, if you will. I will name mine just right off the bat. For those who don't know, he was drafted by the by the Charlotte Hornets. Mr. James Bouknight, I think that's how you say his name. James Bouknight, or however you say it. He just doesn't seem to fit what they're trying to do. And I'm sorry, LaMelo Ball is already the point guard. I don't know where he fits in with this team in Charlotte. So that's just me. I don't know. I just don't see it working with him. I think they're going to trade him at some point. They could trade him in the offseason by this point. I just don't know if he fits in Charlotte. I think they reached on him in the draft this year. He's a good player in college, but I think that's probably going to be about it for him. I just feel like he's going to be the bust, unfortunately. Sorry. So that's me. David, do you want to give yours for rookie? Do you have a rookie by any chance? I know we're squashing on some dreams here, but
Pass.
I was going to say for your guy, Jalen Johnson didn't really do very well from Duke. I know it was in and out of the lineup and all that kind of stuff, but
I've lost. Listen, I'll root for Duke until I'm blue in the face.
yeah,
Soon as they turn pro, I'm like, yeah, they're done.
that's fair. That's fair. Drew, do you have a rookie by any chance that wasn't shining for you by any chance?
Yeah, I passed too.
Okay.
I don't really have
fine.
one.
That's fine. Hey, that's fine.
Yeah, I paid attention to all the great rookies that
Right,
came
all the
out
good
of this
rookies.
class,
Yes.
and I didn't see too much of the garbage.
Well, then,
play.
let's take the moment to say shout out to Scotty Barnes for winning Rookie of the Year.
Absolutely.
Absolutely deserves it. Evan Mobley was a close second. Certainly deserved it.
Can
as
I go
well.
with Giannis's brother?
Giannis's brother?
Sure.
Sure, that works. Let's do that. Let's go. The Giannis brothers for riding on the coattails of what he's done so far.
Are we all gonna have the same one for LVP?
No.
I think so.
I'll guarantee you.
I know I'm with him.
I guarantee you, yours is different than mine.
Why don't you go first, David? Then you can go ahead, and then I'll save mine for last.
Least valuable player.
Least valuable player.
And they didn't have to play.
They didn't even have to play.
Zion Williams, you're a piece of garbage, dude.
Yes.
I'm a Duke fan. You were the greatest thing in Duke basketball history since sliced bread. Former presidents came to watch you play freaking basketball.
That's true.
Very true.
You are garbage, you 350-pound piece of Nike snickerdoodle. Bro.
Well said.
Listen, he's going to show up in either New York or Detroit next year, be in shape, and go off, and then I'm going to be really pissed off.
Could happen. Well, off-season's going to be very interesting.
His camp wants him to go to Detroit. He wants to go to New York.
Absolutely.
And New York's like, hey, we're going to go and trade for Cam Reddish. God only knows why. And
trade Zach LaVine for him?
I think he'd be great in Chicago.
God, Pelicans would get really good then. Him, McCollum, and LaVine at the point, the shooting guard for the Pelicans with Brandon Ingram. That team's probably dropping like 115, 120 a night then.
Good night. But yeah, Zion's my pick.
Okay.
I know where you're going, and I'm right there with you.
True.
It's
start it off, please.
It's Ben Simmons. Okay. You act like a child in Philadelphia. You wah your way out of there. You get to Brooklyn, and then all of a sudden, oh, this is going to be the change you need. The place you want to be, and then all of a sudden your back hurts.
Walking around like he's Michael Jordan, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just terrible. Like all the way around, from top to bottom, everything with Ben Simmons has been awful.
Yeah.
Bad look. He's acted poorly. He hasn't been a professional at all for the money he's making.
Mm-hmm.
For the money you are receiving, grow the hell up. Grow the hell up.
Absolutely.
This is why we don't call these people role models.
Yes.
Because they're making millions and millions of dollars while so many people in the world are struggling, and you act like a child.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't even play. Okay? This is all mental health issues aside. If there are any, I don't know whether or not he does or does not, but the way he has acted and reacted to everything that's happened this year, LVP. Now you can start yelling.
I mean, do I even have to say it at all?
Not really.
Do I really even have to?
You already yelled. You could just make it quick.
I did. Listen, for time's sake, for a man that was supposed to be the next Magic Johnson, supposed to be the next point forward like a Scottie Pippen, and has barely registered as the next Reggie Jackson, who's playing for the Clippers right now, who probably is on the same level as Emmanuel Quickley for the Knicks, or even a sitting Kemba Walker on the bench right now for this team. Consistently poor offensive shooting ability, never got better, never built on his career. All of a sudden, the injuries are starting to mount up. Still gets in the All-Star for some reason. I don't know how that is. Oh, wait, it's defense and passing. Good for you. But frustrates his teammate in Joel Embiid. All of a sudden now he can't handle the pressure of the media because he made a stupid pass when he should have just went for the layup, because he's afraid to take the free throw shots, because all of a sudden he can't hit a ball from that length at any level. Are you kidding me? Then all of a sudden he starts to go from that point and says, I don't want to play for Philly, but he still wants to get paid the money. So then when they take the money away, he says it's mental health issues, so he can still get paid. And then he continues to pout and whine and cry that he gets no respect, nothing. He's got mental health issues, blah, 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 when he's got 2 houses in Philly that he's trying to pay for, even though he can't. And he has cars that he's renting every single month, and he's possibly going broke. And so then he finally gets traded from Brooklyn, and then he's suing the Philadelphia 76ers for $20 million that he says he's owed for doing what? Absolutely nothing. And now the man has sat with the Brooklyn Nets when he should have been prepared, and now all of a sudden, ouchie, my back hurts? Really? You weren't even ready by the time you got to Brooklyn to actually play for the team. And now you have to have Rich Paul and Clutch Sports speak on your behalf with the Nets organization and the execs for them to possibly be able to have any sort of situation where they actually collaborate. You know that word collaborate, folks? They actually collaborate and find a way to get you back on the court. But, of course, that doesn't happen because you're going to keep sitting out. You look like you got dipped in a bunch of melted Skittles on the sideline every single time.
They must have been consulting with Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace on their
Absolutely. They had
the rest of the brain trust.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, sure, they talked to the Chicago Bears about how do we get this thing done. They're like, how about we just let him sit out for the entirety of the whole season and not even get him back for the playoffs. And all of a sudden, as soon as the playoffs hit, as soon as it hits, now his back is getting sore. Now his back is a problem. And in Game 4, when they possibly didn't really need him, but they could have probably at least used him to some degree, he can't even go. But he was ready for Game 5 if it happened. But spoiler alert, it was never going to happen. They were always going to get swept because he is the epitome of the worst #1 overall pick, you garbage sorry sucker. You absolute waste of a human being on a basketball court.
Are you okay?
I can't believe anybody would ever think you were a #1 overall pick. As far as I'm concerned, you should go play in Australia. Oh, wait, they don't even want you in Australia, do they? Because you didn't want to go play for the team because you said, I'm higher and better and above them, even though they still won without your sorry ass, didn't they? So to Ben Simmons, you are, in fact, without a doubt, from here on to this day out until you inevitably retire because of your whiny crybaby attitude, the least valuable player in the NBA.
Are you okay? Can we move on now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yes, we can. We'll make these quick. Well, you know what? Actually, why don't we just save these for another time because we're short on time, and I've got a bit of a migraine going right now. So
I think
I told you not to pop a blood vessel.
I know.
Gasket's blown.
He does it to me every time. Every time.
Gasket has been blown.
Let's save these for another moment, shall we? I know these were a little bit more related. Actually, you know what? Let's just do one really quick one if we can, folks. Just real quick, because I just want to be able to use the picture on it, if anything. It's a question that came from one of our great fans. By the way, the NBA Trash Awards came from our man DeMonte from Fun Dulac. I hope I probably butchered that name, from Wisconsin. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Appreciate the question. This actually came from our guy Michael from Wheaton, Illinois. He asked us the question, what is one of our favorite draft moments in NFL history? So if you guys have a draft moment, I mean, do you have one, Drew? Because I have one right off the top of my head I can kind of start with.
Go ahead.
All right, my favorite draft moment is, TJ, put it up there on the board. It is none other than Notre Dame star boy quarterback, crybaby, Mr. Brady Quinn, sitting at the draft, waiting for his time. I tried to find the picture with him with his girlfriend, as you can see. I then also tried to find the picture where his girlfriend completely disappears from the shot. Because as we know, by that point, as he dropped into the draft, she was long gone from him, ladies and gentlemen. So that's a shout-out for you, Tom, just so you know. Your famed Notre Dame quarterback, big Mr. Loudmouth himself, for the Fighting Irish. My favorite moment in the NFL draft, probably, of all of them, honestly. It's great.
Karen Rodgers dropping is pretty
That's
satisfying
pretty good too.
as well.
That's pretty good, too. I just thought Brady Quinn was funny because girlfriend there, girlfriend gone. Just there's a lot to be said with that. So
I'd have to say most recently be Josh Rosen for me. That one was freaking amazing.
9 other teams that made a mistake, 9 other mistakes that were made or something like that.
I'm going to make them all pay.
What an idiot.
And now you're the backup quarterback to the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, my God.
Might be the starter. Who knows?
Shut your whore mouth, Andrew.
Okay.
Wow. I thought I was angry.
This is one of my favorite events
to
watch and pay attention to.
Absolutely.
Because there's always something crazy that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So every year there's a moment in a draft where you go, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Or,
Actually, yesterday, we watched over the New York Jets blunders over the last years.
Ugh.
Like, I think it was like the last 30 years.
Yeah.
They took Kenny O'Brien over Dan Marino.
Yikes.
They took, now granted, this is Kyle Brady, the tight end from Penn State. They took him over Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
They took
brutal move.
They took a fullback in the first round.
Wow.
Yeah.
There were some doozies. It was amazing.
Absolutely.
That's pretty epic.
But for you, Drew, big moment, anything?
Karen Rodgers,
Rodgers,
and
okay.
just like the NFL draft in general for me is always because of the fact that there's always something wild that happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for our show. We're gonna save these other questions for another time because obviously we can use these at any moment. Maybe we'll hear them next week. We'll see. But obviously, thank you again to our guys, Michael, and thank you to DeMonte. We appreciate the questions, guys. Please keep them coming. But that's gonna do it for our show here, ladies and gentlemen, because the draft is starting here soon. We're probably gonna be reading off the first round pick maybe by the time we end this thing. But Drew, as always, thank you so much for joining me, man. This was a lot of fun, as always. Glad to have you here, man.
Always a good time talking football.
Absolutely. We'll let the people know where they can listen to you, hear you talk all that good football, man.
Right here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and D.Gwil25 on Instagram, and Drew Gwillem on Facebook.
Yeah, there you guys go. Well, make sure to go follow him on all the social media. If you guys want to find me, I'm at DFluffyGuru on Twitter, but I'm always on Boom Crew Captain on Instagram as well. That's where you guys can mostly find me. Guys, if you want to catch any more of us, of course, like and subscribe to our Facebook page as well. And you can follow us there, too, where the show goes up live on the YouTube page as well. You guys can also find us there, too. We go live every Wednesday and every Thursday, 5:30-ish. That's about 6:30-ish, give or take on time. It all depends. But you guys can find us there when we go live. Make sure you get all the updates there. Hit us up on social media, X-Bomb Sports, Twitter and Instagram. And, of course, any comments, questions, just like we had on the show here, hit us up, xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. You want to hear from us as well. All right, and, of course, the podcast stuff. We've got Blow the Whistle. Yes, myself and David will be going live on the radio side, sportssoundchicago.com tomorrow. Make sure to catch us also Tuesdays, 2:30, 3:30 on the TV side as well. Then make sure to go check out our boy Brandon at Baseball Banter with Brandon on Spotify, Odyssey, or not Odyssey, but Anchor.fm and all the other podcasting sites you can catch him at. Also, too, you can find him at 94.3 Genuine Radio as well. Check him out there. Hit us up as well with the amazing podcast, Monday Motivation with Hannah B. You guys can also check her out.
It's the Big Time Podcast.
Big Time Podcast for a big-time player because she's on 102.3 XLC, the afternoon drive, 3 to 7.
Big time.
Check her out there. She's big time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, she's killing it right now. Just like our boy Brandon, he's going big time right now, too, on his Genuine Radio, country radio. So check those guys out as well. And also, too, make sure to go check out The Parlay at theparlay.com. Our boys Tony Lopez and Kendall Gill had a great interview with an undefeated boxer recently, so go check that out.
Tony
also,
Lopez?
too, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Tony Lopez. If you can't believe it,
Kilo!
Yeah, one of our guys. And then also, too,
Again?
yeah, make sure to go check out Fake Football Guys on YouTube as well for all your fantasy football needs.
If they ever do another show.
Yeah, if we ever do another show. And then that's going to do it for us here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. And by the way, shout out to you, King B-Mac. I was reading the chat the whole time. I was biting my tongue not to laugh. Thank you so much for the comments. I appreciate it, man. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to TJ. Shout out to Amber. Everybody here. Thank you all so much for watching. And, of course, David as well.
What the hell was that?
Whatever you change your Twitter thing, we'll talk, okay? How about that? Change your handle finally.
I'm sorry. I'm a professional now, and I have to go by what's on air.
That's fine. All right. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.